Hello and welcome. So today we're going to be using a little small ball or a rolled up towel will work, and also a yoga block, something that you will have to hold or squeeze at some point. If you don't have those items, it's okay. You may like a blanket or a squishier Pilates mat for your knees if you have that available, something that you can give yourself a little cushion to, or maybe even for your tailbone at some point. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to just place the ball over to the side for a moment, hands resting on the knees. So let's just find a simple cross leg position, seated position. Let's warm up the spine a little with a little breath work. Okay, so I want you to breathe all the way down to your low belly area, but I want you to also imagine your back expanding as you breathe in. So let's place a hand on the ribs. Okay, just kind of down low. And if you're feeling like you're kind of being pulled under, go ahead and prop your sit bones up onto something. So you lift up a little higher, and it may make it a little bit easier to breathe. Okay, so take one hand right here on the rib cage, the other hand down a little lower, not quite on your belly, but a little over to the side. So I want you to kind of feel that side waist area that's between your ribs and your hip, and just see if you can breathe into both of these spaces. So we'll inhale. And notice I'm kind of moving everything outward and to the back, rather than just moving the belly up and down. Okay, now exhale, let the hands kind of pull toward each other as you exhale. And blow out every last drop of breath. Okay. Inhale. So when you inhale, your chest is going to rise just a tiny bit. Your shoulders are going to stay steady. Okay, exhale like you could squeeze it out. Until you can have no more breath come out. It may even make you cough a little. Okay, so inhale. And begin to exhale and pull it back in. Relax those shoulders. One more breath this way. Inhale. Exhale it out. So you'll notice here, go ahead and relax. Just shake it out in case you created some tension there. It's not uncommon to create tension in that upper body, but we want to try to keep it relaxed while we're doing this breath. Okay, so now you'll notice as I breathe in, I was making sure that I'm breathing into that side waist and in these lower lobe of your lungs, and down here where the low ribs, so it's a little suspended hanging ribs are, floating ribs, and then right here on the side waist and even in the back. So you might try a couple of rounds here, just kind of that space where the ribs move up toward the sternum right there. Okay, so you can inhale here. But I want you to direct your breath into the hand that's in the back as well. And then exhale, blow it out. And if it's uncomfortable to have your hand back there, you don't have to have the palm. The palm can be facing out if that helps your shoulder. And exhale. And one more here. I want you to feel a little bit of movement back there in the back. And exhale. So mostly the movement is on the inhale. The exhale, the back will contract a little bit, but I really want this to be the contraction that's happening with your transverse abdominals mostly. So this girdle band of muscles that's right here in the front of your body that wraps around to the sides. Okay, now hands just right on the knees. Let's add a little bit more mobility for your spine. So we'll inhale. Rocking, moving the chest forward, and then exhale, pull the belly in. Same breath, same action. We're just rounding out a little more. All right, so I don't want you just to push back. I want you to like push from the front to the back of the body. So pull in, and as though you could pull and lift up. Inhale. So imagine it's kind of like after Christmas, you've got your high-waisted skinny jeans on, and you've got to zip them up. One more just like this. Inhale. And exhale. Good job. All right, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to turn to the side here. So you can just face maybe the short end of your mat. We're going to take a ball, just place that. So ball, towel, block, whatever you have. I just like something that's a little bit softer that I can press into. Okay, so we're going to press into it just right below that knee line. So it does not need to be right at your knees. Sitting up tall, inhale. And then exhale, pull the belly in, but without rounding, I want you to just lean back a little bit. Find the stability of your core here. Shoulders are down, chest is lifted, and come back up. So inhale, exhale, rock it back, pause, squeeze the ball, and then come back up, inhale. Exhale, squeeze, and pull everything into center. Bring it back up. You can have one or both hands supporting behind your legs, or you can just reach along the sides of your body. One more here. Inhale, so when you lean back, try not to let your head jut forward. All right, so come back, exhale. Instead of letting your head come forward, pull it back, ears in line with shoulders, and your gaze is about where the wall will meet the ceiling across your room. Come back up. You might even feel some shaking happening. That's perfect. All right, I want you to roll it back all the way this time. So go back as far as you can with a nice flat back, and that's where I'm going to find that shaking. The feet are going to try to pop up. I'm going to control that descent all the way down to the floor. Arms down by your sides, and we'll walk the feet up toward the hips, shoulders back. Inhale, lifting into bridge. Exhale, lowering down. You're still squeezing that ball. So make sure your feet are in line with the knees as you squeeze the ball. Push down through all four corners of your feet, and especially into your big toe mound and big toe, and then through your heel. Inhale. So as you're lifting, I want you to imagine that you could move your knees towards your toes. You're not going to go anywhere, and our knees should be ideally stacked about over our heels. We're going to lift up and lower down. It's just the action of pushing into your feet and then kind of pulling your heels towards you, or imagining that when you lift, your knees are moving towards your toes. It's going to engage the underside, the little undercarriage under here a little bit more. Lower down. I want those ribs to stay drawn down. Okay. Inhale. So even as you lift and lower, your rib cage is not going to splay open to the ceiling. You're going to pull it down and engage as you lower. Inhale up and exhale down. One more time. Inhale, lifting. And exhale. Go ahead and just pause here. You can release the ball or keep it between the knees as you rock your knees side to side. Why don't you just go ahead and set your ball or item over there to the side for a second. So now, feet are still about parallel and about hip distance apart. We're going to take the arms. So let's walk them down the mat. You can kind of just inchworm them down the mat a little more. So as you reach the arms overhead, first, just observation. Notice here, if the ribs kind of open up, and you can feel it with your hands, and some of us have a little bit more of a kind of open rib cage to begin with, and that's a whole other lesson, but sometimes we just kind of naturally, or are just because of our patterns and habits, already have this kind of open space. Okay, but I do want you to try to pull it down the best you can, so feel like you could tie it up like a little corset right here, and you could pull those two little kind of little half circles together, where the ribs fall apart and move aside to the edges of your waist. So I want you to pull those together. Okay. And now with your arms reaching overhead, keeping this action, so your belly should be pretty firm here, regardless of whether you think your belly is firm or not. It should be active, okay? Sweep your arms, and then just start to lift shoulders slightly off the floor. This isn't a big lift. I just want you to find your action. Okay? Bring it back down. Keep the engagement. Find the breath. Inhale.
Exhale, start to sweep. I want you to gaze toward the ceiling and your vision will just kind of follow as you lift, and then bring it back down. So next move, we're gonna lift up, pause, now lifting one knee up and just right in line with your hip, and bring it back down. Inhale, we're not completely releasing on that inhale, we're still staying active. Lift the opposite knee. Okay. Inhale, roll back. Exhale, pull that rib cage down. Connect from the ribs to the hips. And this will automatically, with your exhale and with this control through the front body, the breath is going to help you to engage your pelvic floor. So if we take a big breath in, fully expanding through the diaphragm, letting that diaphragm contract and pull down, and then exhale as it pulls back up, your pelvic floor should automatically start to engage and pull back up and lift. Okay, inhale. Exhale. Let's try 4 more, so just 2 to each side. Exhale. Again, inhale as you reach. Try not to open up too much. If you need to bend your elbows, another option, when those arms go overhead, instead they could take a cactus arm, elbows bent, and then reach. Sometimes we might have restrictions that are causing those ribs to pop up that are really not within our control at the moment. So I need you to just find what works for you. And now release. Bring it back down. Let your hands rest by your side, turning your head side to side. And then once you come back to center, go ahead and take that ball again, or whatever you've got. We're going to squeeze it. Okay, keep your feet kind of away from your hips still, about where you were just a moment ago. Arms just down by your sides, and you can move them slightly away from your body. Shoulders pull back, and here we are. We're going to pull the rib cage down. So I want you to focus more on pressing down through the middle and upper back space, but especially the midline, about where a bra line would be. Okay, in that midline behind where your ribs are here, on the floor, I want you to push down right there. Okay, so if you can push down right there, your low back is going to automatically follow, and we don't want to smash the low back, but that's going to help start triggering the engagement that we're looking for. So take a breath in, and now squeeze that ball, start to float the feet up. Okay, take a breath at the top. Exhale, keep that rib cage pulled in and toward the mat. Try not to let your hips also move forward, but they're really, if we're finding the engagement here, the hips are just gonna just fall right into line. Okay, so everything's gonna engage the should. So inhale and exhale. Squeeze the ball, lift, inhale. Exhale. Job, relax those shoulders. You can take your palms to the sky and help roll the shoulders back. Inhale, pull down, pull shoulders back. Exhale. Inhale at the top. And exhale slowly back down. Your thighs are falling away from you. You're not just bending your knees and tapping the floor. All right, take one more round. Inhale, pull those shoulders back and ribs down. Exhale, engage. You might find it helpful to place a hand across the rib cage here in the front. Inhale and exhale. Good. Feet land away from your hips. Take a moment, reach it out. Now, once again, depending on how your shoulders are and how your chest is, if you're kind of tight or if you just kind of have this naturally sort of internal rotation that happens with your shoulders, and this happens for some people. Okay, sometimes our shoulders are just kind of rounded, and that's again a different lesson, but I want you to kind of compensate for that by letting your shoulders drop and then roll your palms out, and see if that helps pull those shoulder heads back a little bit more. You could also bend your elbows now instead of taking your arms all the way overhead. So it just depends on how it is for you. Okay, so if you can take your arms overhead and still pull your ribs down, that's where I want you to go. Okay, otherwise elbows can stay bent. Now, float the arms away from the floor. Now we've got some lever that we're having to hold and lift here while we're engaging the core. So already we've added more to the core. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, start to lift the shoulders, squeeze the ball right like you did before, and then see if you can lift the rest of the way. Now, it might require you holding on. I want you to lift up the best you can. Just lift. And if you don't roll all the way up, it's okay. Exhale, roll it back. Slowly to the mat. Inhale, keep the rib cage closed. Don't worry or get tripped up in your head about, oh no, we're doing that one that I can't do because I can't roll up all the way. You're just going to work where you are. Okay? Inhale. Exhale. Okay, let's try 4 more. Inhale, reach. We're not ever using momentum here. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Exhale, roll it back nice and slow. Once again, if you get to a point where you find some shaking happening, that is golden, right? That means that you are really focused working there. And if you don't find shaking happening, that's okay too. But if we find that little shaking, it usually means we're slowing it down and really, really focusing on that movement, okay? Because that core will start to respond. No matter how strong you are. And if we power through it by swinging our arms over and using momentum, we'll never find that action. Okay, last one. Exhale back. And release. Go ahead and take the legs and the arms out long. Shake everything around a little bit. Go ahead and place that ball over to the side. We'll bring the feet back to the mat. Drawing one knee in, give it a hug. And then the other side, give it a hug. So let's take the right knee in, take the left foot down. Okay. So as you pull that knee in, we're going to work with the hand placement for single leg stretch. Okay, so actually I'm going to switch. You can stay, it doesn't matter which one you start with. I think you can see this better though. So I'm bringing my left knee up. Okay, so whichever hand is on the outside. So if it's your left leg, it's your left hand. Right leg, right hand. That goes to the outside and down towards your shin or ankle. Okay, this is just how we tend to do this for this style of Pilates movement, okay? Now, when you do that, I want you to float your heel up a little bit. There's action in this leg, and I'm going to move it away from my chest just a slight bit. All right, so now the other hand, the one that's from the outside crossing over, is going to go just on top of the knee. Float the shoulders, and if that's uncomfortable, keep your head down. Okay, straighten out the opposite leg, reach. So we're in the right form here. We're going to inhale, little pulse of your leg, not your head, and then switch. Outside hand goes to ankle. The hand crossing goes to the knee. Okay, so inhale. Exhale. I want you to keep your heel lifted so that you're not just dropping your knee or dropping your heel and letting your knee dive up toward the sky, right? You're right here. That heel is a little bit almost lifted more than your knee, slightly. Reach. Inhale. You're also trying to do this without moving your head and shoulders. So if that means also you'd like to rest your head, you could do that here or fold it up, a blanket underneath or a pillow. So we still want to be able to gaze kind of toward the ceiling at an angle. Your ribs are staying pulled in. You're breathing. Inhale. Exhale. I'm still getting a lot of work here, even with the head down. All right, so let's go 4 more. 3, 2, and last one, each side, and rest. So we'll drop the head and shoulders if they were lifted. Go ahead and keep the legs up, so feet are slightly higher than your knees. Arms are out to the sides with a soft bent elbow, palms up. We'll do our reclining twist here. So if that means that you'd like to have something to squeeze, go ahead and take it. Okay, so we're going to try to keep the knees pretty close together here. So inhale, rotating to one side. Only go as far as you can. Try to keep squeezing thighs or an object here. And back to center. Inhale, rotate. Take it nice and slow. Exhale, back to center. So as you're rotating, I don't want you to kind of uncurl your spine here. I want you to continue to try to scoop your belly in and keep your ribs down. Inhale, shoulders back. Exhale. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale, back to center. If you can lift your feet a little more, or maybe just one leg straightening at a time, next option. As your legs stay together, opposite foot toward opposite side. Try to go as smooth and controlled as you can. Last 4. 3, almost there, 2, keep the action, and 1, and then back to center. All right, very nice. So go ahead and hug the knees in, and then we'll take a full body stretch, reaching out. From your full body stretch, I want you to bring both knees back in. We'll float the feet again. So just like before, we're going to float the shoulders up. Now, if again that bothers your neck, go ahead and keep it down. Continue to work on that core action just to keep yourself in a good alignment, okay? So knees are pulled towards your chest. Feet are lifted a little bit rather than down here. Okay, so hands just resting right on the edges of your shins or calves. And we'll inhale, reach everything out. Exhale, scoop it in. Inhale. Exhale. So notice, you may not be going super far down with those legs. You might just be going to the ceiling and your head can stay down the whole time. And as you progress, work those legs down lower. But keep the rib cage pulled down, hip points dialed slightly up, just meaning you're going to keep that girdle engaged. When you reach out, try not to dip your feet down like you're dipping the toes in the sand. All right, we're not checking the temperature of the water today with our toes. We're just pulling those knees in. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Last 4. 3, 2, last 1, and bring it back in. Very nice. Take the feet back down to the mat, shoulders back and down. So we'll lift the hips into little bridges and lower downs. Just a few here, just kind of getting everything open back up through the front body. 3 more, and 2, last 1, back to center. So taking hands beside the head, fingertips not quite interlaced all the way, just your fingertips. They can even just touch or barely interlace the fingertips right to the sides of your head. And walk those fingers down so you're supporting your neck as well. Shoulders are pulled back. I like to use my thumbs kind of down toward my jawline, and it makes a nice little cradle for the base of the skull. Let your head be heavy here. Elbows back, pull your ribs down. Okay. Inhale, and go ahead and lift those feet. We'll rock it out. Let's take that right leg straight so it can be down low or up high, your choice. And we're going to take the right shoulder toward the left side. So a little crisscross over and then switch. Inhale. Exhale, cross. So making sure that your head is staying pressed back into your hands. If you're still finding this version just a little challenging today, you can take the other foot to the floor. And that can just be a nice place to work, building your strength. Make sure you're breathing and that low back is staying on the floor. So we're not going to rock our way from side to side. We're just going to rock our shoulders from side to side. Okay. Have a little lift up and over. And last 8, 7, make sure you're breathing. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, come on, 1 more. And then back to center. All right, knees can pull in again. Give them a nice hug. Drop the feet down. We're gonna rock it over to one side. So as you roll over to the side, go ahead and then come up. As you've made your way into a little tabletop position to start. So hands directly underneath your shoulders, knees about hip distance. And let's take the left leg, reach it back. Lifting up, pulling your ribs in again, shoulders back. Draw a knee toward nose and hollow out. Inhale, take it back. And exhale. I want you to really scoop the knee up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull it up. Just a few more. And now we're going to switch it up just a little. So if you need to put your hands on something higher, or if you need to make any adjustments for your wrist, go ahead and do so. Keeping that left leg back. I'm going to cross it over to the right side. So crossing under, and bring it back. So you might need a little more elevation to do this. Give a little more clearance to the floor. That's fine. Take your hands on a stool or something higher. Try to keep your upper body in good alignment. So ears in line with shoulders, so you're not dropping your head. We know the knee is there. You don't have to see it. Okay, so just continue gazing slightly ahead on your mat. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, cross under. Make sure your arms are wide enough. They're maybe about the width of your mat. Last couple here. And last one. Now bring it back down. Drop that knee down. And we'll move it to the other side. So we're going to take that right leg, reach it back. Exhale, bring it in. Straight towards your chest. Inhale back. Exhale, pull it in. So when you take it back, I want those ribs to stay pulled in as though you're kind of also filling in your low back with the belly, and everything is staying in neutral alignment here. Inhale. Exhale. Really scoop it up. Now here you can drop your head a little if you're rounding into this kind of cat stretch, but then make sure you gaze forward again. Pull those shoulders back. Rebound out of it every time. Inhale and exhale. Let's cross it under. Continue. Okay, crossing under and up. So it's not just that you're shifting your knee to the left, you are shifting it and trying to lift it. Okay, inhale, like you're going to try to tap your left arm. Inhale and exhale. 4 more. 3, 2, good job. Last one. Soften those elbows, but pull the shoulders back and rest. Take the knees out wide. Press back into a nice big stretch. As you come forward, we're going to bring the elbows down this time, but we're going to keep those legs wide. So about the width that you had them in your child's pose or wider. So right now the legs are out pretty wide. I'm going to take it back into a wide leg elbow plank. So make sure that your feet are pretty wide. And it's okay if you don't end up holding this the whole time. I want you to take your hands across, so you can bring those knees down for a moment. You can always come back to this position, okay? Knees down is fine. But when you're here, I don't want those hips shifting back, okay? So your chest is slightly up, your ribs are pulled in, your core is solid. Right now, my right arm is going to go across in the front. Place weight on that forearm, not just your elbow.
Gaze to the floor. Pick up your left arm and just hold it under you. Okay, so we're just going to stop right here and hold. Okay, for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I want you to roll onto your right arm and on your right knee, and now you're in side plank. Just reach up, lower down and up with your hip. Down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. You're going to swap sides. So bring it back down, and you can bring your right arm behind your left arm. Make sure that your left elbow and shoulder are in good alignment. Draw, reset, lift through your ribs, up towards your back, belly towards spine, and take a breath in. Okay, slide that right hand underneath you, hold it there. Deep breath, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, roll it on over to that left side, left knee stays down. Reach up and drop that hip down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to center. And just rest, press it back. Big child's pose, sink those hips back. Walk your hands over to the left. See if you can stack right hand on top of left as you drop your head. Deep breath in through the right side waist. Come back around to the front and over to the other side. And back to center again. Walk it up. And we'll have a seat on the right hip. That left leg kick back. It can be staggered or with a big Z sit. Take the right arm, reach it up. Actually, I'm not even mirroring you today. Oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? So you can go opposite or follow along. So if you're mirroring me, you're sitting on your left hip. Okay, doesn't matter. Just pick a side. Come all the way over. Inhale, come up. Exhale, reach. And one more right here. Just reach it out. Give it that twist. Come back up. And let's switch sides. So just swing those feet over to the other side. Inhale. Reach over toward the feet. And then away from the feet. Up and over. Give it that twist toward the floor. Come back up. Inhale. Exhale, reach, come back to center, sweep to the other side, and give it that nice big twist. Up to center, and all the way to seated. So let's find that cross-leg position where you started. Come forward, stretching through the low back and hips. Come back up, switch whichever leg is in front. We'll do that again, coming forward. Back to center. Bring your hands just right behind you like little claws, just kind of up on your fingertips, right behind your hips. Pull the shoulders back. Try to lift through the center of the chest, but still keep the ribs pulled down. So we're really activating the upper back space, not just kind of using that little hinge point of our thoracic spine. Okay, so we're really squeezing that upper back and keeping the chest open. One more breath. And then release it. Sweep both arms up, find a big deep breath and a moment of gratitude for your breath and your movement today. Bring that right down, sealing this practice together. Thank you for showing up and for being a Pilates rock star.